The only reason I got a TV show at CNN is because Connie Chung had an 8 o'clock show and she left, and they gave Paula Zahn a 2-hour block from 7 to 8. There was a 2-hour open window. I can't even remember was it 7 o'clock, but there was a 2-hour window that they wanted her to anchor. And she wisely looked at that 2-hour block and was like, I'm not anchoring for 2 hours. There's no show. There was no executive producer. I'm not just going to go and sit there and be on TV for 2 hours without some thought about what. So she stopped working. She was like, I'm not coming back on air until you hire an executive producer and you figure out what the show is going to be. So they turned to me, the schmuck who will work, any hours, any day, and gave me this 2-hour block from 7 to 9. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll fill in. I mean, somebody needs to, somebody's got to fill in that slot. I'll just do it. It was just a window that we needed to fill. And it obviously didn't last long. They hired real executive producers, but Paula then was given the 8 o'clock, and they were like, look, we'll give this guy the 7 o'clock. So I was given a 7 o'clock show at CNN. And because I was working so much on weekends, a lot of stuff started happening on weekends. There was the DC Sniper, and they started to see that I could actually do breaking news. And I had no idea that I could do breaking news, but if you have a lot of information in your head and you're able I liked it actually when the teleprompter was blank. I could write my own copy, but also when the teleprompter is blank and you have a live event that's occurring over the course of, say, 8 hours on a day, and you can stay on for 8 hours and have a coherent narrative with just little bits of information coming in. It's not a huge skill. It's not brain surgery, but to me, it's an interesting. That's what I like best about anchoring. I like it when the teleprompter is blank and there's something actually happening, and you have to form a coherent narrative that doesn't just endlessly repeat itself and that is completely accurate based on very little bits of information and information that's coming in drips and drabs. And that's when it's most interesting. If you've ever been on a beach where the tide goes out and there's like a sand cliff that's created by the outgoing water, as a kid, I used to run along the edge of that sand cliff, and it would collapse beneath you as you went. But if you could run fast enough and keep going, you could stay upright. And it was kind of exhilarating because the thing is collapsing beneath you as you're running. To me, that's what anchoring a breaking news event is like. You can destroy yourself in a sentence or two. You can say something that's not true. You can say something stupid. But if you're able to keep upright and, pace it well and tell what's happening, it's exhilarating because there is that energy to it, and it's history happening. I was anchoring on weekends, and so the DC Sniper happened, and then the Gulf War happened, and so I started anchoring the overnight news coverage for that, and that was when all the because of the time change, all the live hits were coming in from correspondents, and CNN was having some incredible live images coming across. Gunfights that were happening on camera that our correspondents were in the midst of, and we would be on all night long just narrating this stuff, and it all happening in real time, and so they saw that I could do that, and so that's how I got a show. But how do you do it? It's important. I think it's important to just be honest with viewers and to acknowledge what you know and to acknowledge what you don't know, and don't say anything you don't know for a fact. And or at least cite the sources on everything. If it's only one source and this is coming from a local reporter or this is coming from the police chief, you say all that. And because it's the first page of written history. And the information you're getting in the moment, some of it's not going to be accurate, particularly on a breaking story, inevitably. We all know this, by now, that early reports are often inaccurate, and you just acknowledge that to viewers. You say, look, this is the information we have. I'm not, I don't want to go down, I'm not going to go down the road of speculation, but, these are early reports. I want to caution you, the information we're having that I'm giving to you, these are very early reports. These are, this eyewitness has said this, the police chief has said this is the statement here, and you try to piece it together, and you give each shard of information, each fragment to the viewers, and you explain where it's from and what it reflects, and You correct yourself if you make a mistake, and you apologize if you make a mistake, and you're just honest in everything you do and say. And you know, you're going to make mistakes. There's no doubt about it. But it's important to, when you do, acknowledge it and just, you know, and keep it in mind and don't do it again,
Right.
and learn from it.